Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. I'm not someone who ever listens to Talk Sport because I just don't have the time, frankly. But apparently, Frank Warren had a very big dust up, if you like, verbal dust up with some guy called Adam Catterall, who's a Talk Sport presenter. Gareth A. Davies was also sitting there, but he wasn't going to say anything against Warren. And Gman Boxing, I have to give him a lot of credit because he did. Gman did a video about this little spat between this Catterall guy and Warren. Again, Warren was on the phone, and Warren got, very heated because Catterall had the audacity to suggest that, or to ask questions really, which is, why is Tyson Fury fighting a guy who has never had a professional fight before, which is Ngannou? And what about defending his title? He's a world heavyweight champion. He mentioned Mac Madoff as an opponent, just a random opponent. I mean, he could have mentioned Frank Sanchez, Martin Bakole, Jared Anderson. He could have mentioned a number of people. If you look at any top 10, top 15 ranking, whether it's whichever ruling body it is, whether it's the Ring Magazine's rankings, whether it's Boxing News' ranking, you will see that Fury has not cleaned out the division because he's only fought maybe 3 of the top 10, shall we say. And you have to, if you're going to call yourself the best of your era, never mind the best of all time, you've got to clear out the whole division. Of course you have. It stands to reason. Mike Tyson did that. Muhammad Ali did that. Joe Lewis, whoever you mention, in your era, you have to clear it out. And then history will judge you as to where you fit in the pecking order. Lennox Lewis was another one who did it. He fought everyone. Tyson Fury hasn't, of course, and there's no intention of doing so. And when he was pulled up on this, Warren got very sort of very, very defensive, to put it mildly, as you would expect. Now, as I say, credit to G-Man for doing that video, but he kind of stole a bit of my thunder, G-Man, God bless him. It's a brilliant channel. Go and have a look at G-Man's channel. Give him a sub as well if you haven't already. But I wanted to do a similar video about an interview I saw with Warren, which was with Danny Flexen, who, when he worked for Boxing News, used to be quite a good journalist, but he spent the last couple of years or however long sort of flunkying for Frank Warren. He's my very good friend, Frank Warren. He introduced him like that, and he's very, very gentle with the questions. But this is the thing that I wanted to concentrate on because it made me laugh out loud, and very few things in life do make me laugh out loud, but this did, because it's so audacious, so absurd. I'm just glad I ain't got Frank Warren's nerve in my tooth, otherwise I'd be in agony. But Warren said that he accused Anthony Joshua of lacking ambition, which, oh my God. Look, apart from the fact he's slagging off the fight with the rematch with White, and of course you know my opinion on that. If you watched my videos before, you'll know that I think it's a perfectly decent fight. It shouldn't be on pay-per-view. That's an absurdity, but it's not a bad fight. Why? Because both guys are damaged goods. Joshua's lost twice to Usyk. Usyk, the guy that, even regardless of what Warren said, all the evidence points towards Usyk being avoided by Fury. But Usyk moved away from the Usyk's team. They had a better deal over in Saudi, and they didn't pursue that they pulled away from the negotiations. They threw in the towel. No, they did that because you kept moving the goalposts, and Fury, with those cretinous videos that he puts out demanding XYZ, demanding this is signed by that on that date, this needs to be done. No, it's not 60-40 anymore, it's 70-30. And what about the rematch clause? No, I don't want a rematch clause. He moves the goalpost constantly, and this is called, avoiding someone. Because eventually Usyk's team were like, well, what the hell? We're wasting time here. We're wasting months and months. Let's go somewhere else. And so, understandably, they went looking. They took the Saudi deal, and Fury toddles off and fights someone who has yet to fight a boxing match, which is Ngannou, which Warren loves. It's great, When asked about, all the contenders that it could for, who's heard of them? You walk down the street and no one's heard of them. Well, no one's heard of Francis Ngannou. The man in the street hasn't. I didn't know who he was until I don't follow MMA. I didn't know. Oh no, but that'll make a lot of money because you've got an MMA. It's a groundbreaker. It's a game changer. Well, Frank, game changing, because sometimes you can change the game for the worst, and my God, this is the worst. But for you to come out and say that Joshua, and he's fighting White. You saw what Tyson did with Dillian White last year. Yeah, he smashed him up. And White is damaged goods, but so's Joshua. Joshua again lost twice to Usyk. He's lost. Joshua's lost 2 of his last 3 fights. White has lost 2 of his last 4 by knockout. Okay, so you've got 2 damaged fighters, damaged in terms of possibly confidence. Not so much White. I think White's confidence is always very good, but certainly Joshua. He had that meltdown after the second Usyk fight. He's got a new trainer and so on and so forth. You put them together because very often you will get a crossroads fight, and they are very entertaining fights. You know, sometimes when people are past their best, you put them together, you get a great fight. And most importantly of all, you get a proper boxing match, not a fight between a world heavyweight champion, in Fury's case the WBC, and a guy who, again, has never had a professional boxing match. One is boxing, one is the circus. One is the NBA, one is the Harlem Globetrotters. If you don't know who the Harlem Globetrotters are, Google it, you'll see what I mean. Okay? So if Warren is saying Joshua lacks ambition, no, he's having a legitimate fight, okay, against someone he's fought before. You want to talk about making money? 2 guys who are damaged heavyweights, who are essentially being recycled in some respects, okay, are fighting each other in a crossroads fight. A proper boxing match, which could, I'm not saying it will be, but it could be very entertaining, okay? So they're doing their thing within boxing. They're fighting each other. 2 names that are fighting each other, right? They're not going off and fighting some MMA guy or some UFC guy or whatever the hell it is. No, they're fighting. They're boxers, they're fighters, and they're fighting each other, okay? So you can't say that Joshua, who, by the way, if he gets through White, is looking at Deontay Wilder, you know, you can't say that he lacks ambition. Warren was saying, well, last year, Tyson, you know, offered him 60-40. And, Joshua didn't take it. Well, Joshua was coming off 2 consecutive defeats to Usyk, okay? He had that meltdown. He didn't have a trainer, okay? So for you to say, well, he should have taken that then. No, I'm sure Tyson Fury would love to fight a damaged Anthony Joshua. He sure as hell didn't want to fight him when he was unbeaten. But no, he wants to fight him now because his confidence is at an all-time low. His training regime is all up in the air. Mentally, he's not right. Of course, if I was in Joshua's team, I'd have said, don't take it. But Joshua wanted it, you know, and Fury came out and said, I want it signed by such and such. Look, the absolute control freak that Fury is. Everything's got to be his way, and if you agree to it, he moves the goalpost yet again. Now, Frank Warren used the phrase bullshit when he was talking on Talk Sport, right? The only bullshit here is Frank Warren, okay? Because he talks about, on the one hand, he talks about, well, you know, fighting Makhmadov or, you know, I don't know, Frank Sanchez or whoever it is. You know, there's no money in it. No one's heard of these people, okay? But so obviously we're going to go with Ngannou, you know, for that little circus act. But we're going to make a lot of money, we hope, okay? Okay, so you're talking about, it's got, regardless of whether you've got a belt, which Fury has, it's all about making money, you know, from the man who didn't, money doesn't matter, and it's for the fans, and, you know, Fury talking all this crap about, I'll fight Joshua for free, I'll do this. It's all rubbish, all absolute garbage, okay? It's, in other words, it's BS, and it comes out of Fury's mouth. Not that Warren would ever admit that, even though he damn well knows it, okay? So you've got that situation. And on the other hand, you've got proper fighters, or people who are not champions, but are still fighting each other. Okay? Fury is the WBC heavyweight champion. He's got the belt. Joshua, White, they haven't got any belts anymore. Wilder hasn't got a belt, right? But at least they're fighting boxers. The man who should be cleaning out the division, if he wants to call himself the best, is Tyson Fury. He's got the belt. He should be absolutely moving heaven and earth to fight Usyk for the undisputed championship, okay? And he instead of moving goalposts repeatedly, he should be bending over backwards to accommodate Usyk, just as Usyk proved he did for Fury. Usyk was the one who said, 70-30, yeah, go on in. Yeah, donate £1 million to, you know, the Ukrainian cause, and we got ourselves a deal. £1 million in this negotiation is nothing. Fury could have done that. He didn't even want to do that. All right, he didn't want the fight, Fury. Usyk quite clearly did. Okay, but Fury is the one with the belt. You don't hold the guy with the belt, the guy who's walking around saying he's the champion, the guy who's saying that he's the best ever in literally any era. You don't hold him to the standard of two fighters, Dillian White and Anthony Joshua, who have lost, 4 of the last combined 7 fights. You just can't do that. It's ridiculous. So Warren, as usual, is talking his usual obscurantist garbage. It's okay for Fury, the champion, to go and, prioritise money and fight in essentially a non-boxing match for an astronomical amount of money. But if AJ and White and others do it, well, they're lacking ambition. No, the only person that lacks ambition is Tyson Fury. Don't forget, Joshua's fought Usyk twice, okay? He lost, no problem. Usyk's a brilliant fighter, but he fought him. He lost. He had the rematch. He insisted on the rematch. What did Fury do? What has Fury done? He hasn't gone anywhere near Joshua. He was absolutely delighted when he had that third fight with Wilder, because it meant he didn't have to go anywhere near Joshua, despite having previously announced with his little mate Kinahan, "Oh, we've got it over the line, it's a 2-fight deal, me and Joshua, blah, 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 blah." No. When the bottom line is that Tyson Fury has 2 men on his resume and they're very, very good victories. One is Vladimir Klitschko. He went over to Germany and beat Klitschko. A very, very impressive performance and a very good win. That was when Uncle Peter was in charge of his training. And then he went over to America and he defeated Wilder 3 times. Okay. The first one wasn't a draw for me. Fury won that. So he's got 2 men on his resume. Throw in White. Chisora, no. Chisora wouldn't be in the top 15. Really just a gatekeeper now. So he's got 3 people in the top 15 who he's faced. You cannot have that kind of record and then claim, I am the best of the era. Never mind the best ever. You've got to clean out a division. And while you've got the belt, you are obliged to fight contenders. The WBC should be ashamed of themselves for not giving him a mandatory. He hasn't had a mandatory since White. I mean, they're totally in cahoots with him. But if you're the champion, you fight contenders. What Fury is essentially doing is, we'll let everyone fight each other. Dubois, of course, is fighting Usyk, which Warren loves because that protects Fury. And he doesn't really care about Dubois. He's saying Dubois is going to beat Usyk, blah, blah. No, he isn't. We all know he isn't. It will be a colossal upset if he beats Usyk. I wouldn't entirely rule him out because he's a big lump and he hits hard. But I don't see him beating Usyk at all. And if he does beat him, that'll be a nice little Brucey bonus for Frank. Because Frank Warren is using, should we say if this was a game of chess, he's using, Fury is the king who he's protecting, and he's using, his knights and his bishops and his rooks to protect Fury. And the knights and the bishops and the rooks are Joe Joyce, Zhilei Zhang and Daniel Dubois, and they're being manoeuvred to sort of put some miles on Usyk's clock, if you like. So even if Usyk beats Dubois, and then let's say, for example, he fights the winner of Zhilei Zhang and Joe Joyce and beats them, it'll be a lot older because he's no spring chicken as it is. And maybe, if it looks like there's an opportunity for Fury to jump in and get him when he's vulnerable, Fury will fight him. Just like last December when he was all too prepared to fight Anthony Joshua, because Anthony Joshua had never been so vulnerable. Lost back-to-back fights to Usyk, and his confidence and his mentality was very, very low. So all of this stuff really is Frank Warren talking his usual drivel. I always use the word obscurantist because he's obscuring everything. He's gaslighting, just like his little mate Fury and John Fury. John Fury's the worst of the lot. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, that guy's toxic. He's absolutely toxic when it comes. By the way, it was interesting during the Danny Flexen interview. Flexen mentioned about the fact that Tommy Fury is no longer promoted by Frank Warren, and John Fury had made a comment. Well, Frank was getting money for nothing. he's even turned against Warren, and Warren couldn't be more of a sycophant to the Furies, but. John is just crazy. He's off the chart. I don't know what the hell he's on. It's interesting that Tyson Fury, his attitude, his mentality, his emotions seem to have sort of unravelled since John came back on the scene. It's roughly the same time, and I'm going back to when he just beat beat Klitschko. You know, and then he had his mental health issues. I don't know what the hell it is, the dynamic is between those two, but I do not think that John Fury is anything but toxic to anyone around Tyson Fury, and he may be having a very detrimental mental and emotional effect on his son. I don't know. I don't have enough inside information, but yeah. Anyway, look, I've had a good old rant for 15 minutes. You leave your comments below. What do you think? Go and have a look at Gman's video as well. It's very good. I'll leave a link in the description. And subscribe to the channel if you're new, of course. Hit the like button if you like the video. Spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. I appreciate your time and I will answer your comments. Much love to you. Take care. Bye for now.